Hello, welcome to another Thursday night live stream. Well, this is new. Tonight we have a very special, or I have a very special stream for you guys. It's the Grandstream unboxing. If you got the pun intended there. Um, Seems like some of you are very excited about this. I shared the link with several of you, and you all immediately went to the chat and said hello. And so Joe was first, Toro was second, Grish was third, Jeremy was fourth, Michael, sorry, is was fifth. Nils is here. Clint, welcome here. Jason, welcome back. We will get to that question. We will get to that in just a second, actually. So, let me know if you guys can hear me this time, because I know last time was it Tuesday, we had some audio issues. I'm going to make sure we're not having any of that again. Please don't forget to click on the like button. I see that several of you already have, because we have 7 likes. 8 viewers, so that's a great ratio. YouTube is complaining that my stream rate is too low, which is weird because it shouldn't be that low. I don't know. YouTube these days, I swear. Sometimes, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Anyway, thank you for confirming everything is good. So, as you know, decided to jump into the Grandstream world. We went over the reasons in the last 2 streams, so I don't feel like I need to revisit those. So I guess let's just get started. The first thing I got and this literally is in the box. Like, I haven't pulled anything out of the box yet. Is this. This is the GWN, oh crap, what a number, I don't want to say it wrong, 7813P. So this is the Grandstream 7813P. It is still in the plastic bag. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this is now officially an Amazon affiliate link down below. Let me go double check my description. Yes, so most of this hardware is actually in the description under the Amazon affiliate links. So if you're interested in buying this stuff, I know everyone says it, please click the link down below and then buy it. I do get, I think it's 4%. Something like that. If you buy something through my link, doesn't change your price, but obviously it helps me out. Also in the description is my EcoFlow River 2 and the Ugreen NAS that I bought, and the RAM that I'm using in the Ugreen NAS. In case you were curious what RAM works, the RAM listed there does in fact work. So enough about affiliate links. Let's get this out of the bag. So why did I go with the big switch instead of the smaller one? Right here. Oops, right here. This has 4 SFP plus ports. And as you know, I have 2 virtualization servers. They're identical. They have 10 gig connections in them. So I wanted a 10 gig switch. I don't need 10 gig across the board. I only have 3 devices in the house that can do 10 gig. So this gives me 4 ports. I have 3 will be in use because there'll be 2 for the virtualization server and 1 for the NAS. The Ugreen NAS has a 10 gig NIC in it. So that'll be plugged in. And then I will still have, in theory, 1 10 gig NIC to grow or use for whatever I need to. The 24 ports is probably overkill. I don't fill up my 24 port switch now, but obviously it gives me room to grow. They are PoE. That is a huge reason why I decided to go this route, because in looking at my system, I was going to have to buy, or I wanted to buy, 2 new access points. And then I was like, well, now I need PoE injectors. Well, now if I'm spending $30 for a good PoE injector, well, shit, now I'm at $60 and a new switch is like $130. And then I'm like, well, actually, it's more than that because I need this big thing. But I literally could have bought, and I did buy, a small switch for, you know, not much more than I would have bought power PoE injectors for. So, but yes, so 7813p, that's like 16K resolution. True. I'm not saying, I mean, yeah, I mean, I have heard that. So I guess it's a Canadian thing. Because according to Grish, if you buy anything off Amazon, you will not get the warrant. Or sorry, here's the one. Yeah. So I'm not pretending to understand about the warranty, non-warranty issues. I would say purchase at your own risk. Some of the stuff's not very expensive in terms of, you know, what it is compared to the competitors. You know, buy at your own discretion. That's what I'm going to say about that. So, and then I did not, in fact, buy this stuff off Amazon, just so we know. So you know. So, like I said, got the 24 ports off of this. Got the SFP Plus ports. It's got a console port down here, reset button. It looks like only 8 of these ports are PoE++ ports, based on the little label over here that says blue. So it looks like these are plus ports, and these are just regular PoE ports. So that'll be the basis of my network. That'll be the core switch that'll go on the wall of tech, and everything will be plugged into. Welcome back, Joe. So this will be, like I said, this will be the core switch. The servers and NAS will be plugged in here. Most of the upstairs connections will be plugged into here. And then I actually bought more stuff, as you saw in the picture. So speaking of access points, and again, I haven't opened up any of this stuff yet, so I bought 2 GWN 7660 access points. Now, I currently only have 1 access point, and it's not exactly the best. We'll just say that. It's an old Unify AP Lite. I forget what it exactly is. It's several years old. Probably pre-COVID, I think, even. It's passive powered only, so no PoE. And it currently sits at the corner of our house, and it covers the house fairly well, but it doesn't cover the entire house. It doesn't cover any part of the yard very well. So my current thought process is I will replace one of them, the one I have right now, with this one, and then I will do a second one basically on the opposite corner of the house, which is basically above where I'm sitting, or I will put this in the garage and basically get Wi-Fi close to Haley's office, because we have a first floor office and a second floor office, and one is on one side of the house and one is on the other side of the house. So by putting one in the garage, I will essentially cover her upstairs office. And then if we put one in the office downstairs. That'll be covered as well. We'll have both sides of the house. So curious to see how two work. I've never actually had two access points in the house before. Obviously, we have a bazillion of them at work, but that's through a specialized controller. So I am curious to see how these two work together in a home environment. This is interesting to me because I don't know that I realized this, but it has two switches on the back. One is labeled Net PoE, which obviously PoE goes in there. The other one's labeled just Network. So I'm actually curious if you can get, if this is actually like a switch or if it's either or. My guess is it's a mini switch because there is no, I just realized, there is no DC option for these things. They are PoE only, as makes a lot of sense. So got two of these. They did come with brackets to mount. Looks like, and screws. This is Wi-Fi 6. This is not Wi-Fi 6E, I believe. So this is just the dual band, not the tri-band, which I think is going to be fine. I mean, for those who don't know, there's a field right there. I mean, literally 10 feet from that way, there's a wide open field. So I don't have any neighbors to my left. Behind me is a park, so there's no one behind me. So I have neighbors to my right and neighbors across the street, and that's it. So I don't have a lot of contention in terms of neighborhood networks. I mean, obviously, if I'm on that side of the house or in the front yard, I see a bunch. But if you go out in the back, kind of where our pool is right here, you see a lot less. So I don't really need the tri-band. I think I'll be fine in terms of, wireless and whatnot. So I have two of these. All right, so let's go back to the thing. Wow, Joe. That hurts a little bit, dude. Okay, so they are. That's what I figured they were, but I just, I honestly, and I should probably be transparent. If it wasn't for Tony and Willie Howe, Tony, from Quick Tech, and Willie Howe from Willie Howe, talking about these and pushing me in this direction, I probably would have spent a whole lot more money and went with Unify. And then I kind of just took the recommendations for what they have. And I know Tony did a video on one of these and seemed to like it, so I bought that. And like I said, I did get it, Joe, I bought two of these. So, and then, so we talked about the core switch. Then I bought two of these, and these are these are the 7801Ps, the GWN 7801P. So they're little 8-port with SFP. Now, this is regular SFP. This is not SFP. I cannot speak tonight. These are not plus. We'll just say that. These are regular 1 gig connections. The whole switch is 1 gig. But for my use case on these two, I think that's fine. If you don't know, over here to my left in my fly pack, there's a TP-Link switch. Oops. My dog just decided to jump off the chair, and it scared me a little bit. So I have a 16-port TP-Link I bought on like a Black Friday special or whatever it was. It's managed and I thought I could do VLANs on it. I never got the VLANs to work with my Cisco products. Like, the trunks never talked to each other. I don't know why. They just wouldn't talk. So I had to give up on the idea of doing VLANs on it. And that kind of pissed me off, honestly, about TP-Link. And then some of the other software or software bugs or backdoors, however you want to look at it, kind of pissed me off as well. So I'm replacing the TP-Link in my fly pack here with one of these. Currently, I only use 5 connections, and actually that's not true because one of them is unplugged. So I only use 4 connections, so I figured 8 was plenty. At most on this desk, I'm going to need like 1 or 2 for testing. I'm not going to need a bunch of switches. My dog is going crazy. What is going on over there? You okay, Pooks? She's running around like crazy. So, yeah, so I bought, like I said, I bought one of these. This is also PoE, and the thought process here was obviously testing things or demoing things for the channel. I have a Grandstream phone. I could put it here and play with things with VoIP or test things and not have to plug this in. So that was what I bought that for, and I hope, yep, okay. It does have rack ears. I thought it did, but I got scared for a second and thought maybe there weren't rack ears in here. One thing I've noticed so far about Grandstream products is they give you a grounding connector in every box. And that is quite interesting. I honestly have never seen that before. To include a grounding connector in every box. That's a little interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm obviously grounding's important, but most of this stuff I would assume would be plugged in a house or in a business, and so that's a little interesting that they take grounding so seriously, which is good. I'm a little shocked. Everything at work is grounded. I mean, everything at work we have grounding like crazy, so I understand and can appreciate it. So back to the APs, Toro says this is for daisy chaining, so that's cool. That's a good question. I'm gonna find out. I would assume so, but I don't actually know. So, yeah, what else did I get? Well, I bought 2 of those. And the reason why I bought 2 of those is because in my, like I said, one of these is probably going to go either over here or in my garage. In my garage, I have an Ethernet drop, and so my thought is to put one of those switches in the garage, either in the garage or in the attic. Probably in the garage based on the heat. But I'm going to put it in the garage, and that way I can power an access point and 2 cameras. And then, because it's managed, have the ability to make a camera VLAN and have an access point, have different SSIDs on it. So I definitely needed a managed switch that does PoE, so I can do cameras, so I can do access points. And like I said, I need that to do that. So we're gonna do 2 switches, small switches, one for the fly pack and one for the garage. Have the core switch, and then 2 access points. And then what else is part of your network that you need? You need a firewall, router, gateway, whatever you want to call it. So the last purchase that I made, or sorry, Joe, the last thing I bought is the GCC 6010, right? Yep. So it's this little router gateway controller thing. This has got 5 ports of RJ45, 2 SFP ports. 4 of the ports are PoE out. Not that I'm going to need it, but it's good to know it has the PoE ports. So basically everything has PoE, which for me is going to be a huge change because I've never had anything in this house do PoE. I mean, half the stuff at work, half the switches at work don't do PoE still. So it's nice to have PoE. And then this will be nice to mount on my wall of tech with the mounting bracket or mounting holes. Because I hated having my old PF Sense box sit on top of my servers. It means I could never open the server, and it just kind of became, always in the way. So this will allow it to be on the wall, out of the way, along with the fiber, or the fiber GPON device and everything else. So the only thing I don't like that I've already seen and just noticed is that the DC connector is not a screw-in. That kind of is annoying because of how important this thing is. But it does have a clip here. So I'm guessing the power cord can go in here. And then that way, for strain relief, again, more grounding, but I don't see... Okay, so this is the first one that doesn't have a grounding wire in it. Probably because it's DC based, so you don't really need one, I guess, for DC voltage. But you can ground it if you want, and yeah, it's got a micro SD card slot and a USB slot, so interesting. I'm guessing the USB is console? I don't actually know. So yeah, so there is the network, or essentially there's the hardware. So again, we have a centralized 24-port core switch, 2 8-port switches for accessory locations, and 2 Grandstream access points, and 1 new router gateway firewall device. So that was extremely fast, but that's the easy part, is unboxing it. Now I got to configure it all. Let me go back to the chat and see what you guys are saying. Correct. If everything is grounded, you shouldn't be shocked. That is true. No, I don't have an NVR currently. I had kind of thought about using Unify for that, but we had talked about that. Yes and no, so I think I'm just going to do, is it Frigate? I think it's one of those ones that's out there that's open source. I'm going to try that first. There's a couple other ones out there that I may try. I don't know. I'm not really quite sure about the security system in terms of the NVR. So that is still kind of yet to be determined, I should say. Yeah, so wall mount rack plus 12U rack with wheels. Yeah, that'd be ideal. I'm actually going to start now. Like I plan on plugging this stuff in and getting started. Maybe not fully like working network, but I mean, at least I kind of want to see how far we can get. The cables are awfully short, and I don't have a whole lot of power over here. So that's going to be interesting. So let's just plug in. I guess we'll start with the switch. So, yeah, these are some of the shortest. These are some of the shortest IEC line cords I've made. That as far as it goes. Like I can't even put my arms all the way. In theory, it'll work. Nope, it won't work. It's too short. Never mind. So when I told Tony that the stuff was arriving, he and I had a phone call, and he gave me some good advice on how to set this up, and basically things to look for and to avoid. And the one thing he told me to do was to turn on each device and do the firmware update first, and then go into here and adopt all the devices into the controller. That way everything's already up to date, and that way everything talks. Because if you don't necessarily do that, you could run into a situation where everything can't talk, but it's kind of adopted, and so you could run into some sort of issue like that. So first thing I wanted to do is turn things on. We'll go through the interfaces, see what it's like, do a firmware update on everything, make sure everything's up to date, and then we'll see how far we get. Maybe we'll have it joined to the controller. I don't know. But I need to find a longer power cord first. Crap. Okay, hold on. Please stand by. All right, so I found a longer cord. I just plugged it in. Hey, Keith, welcome in. How's your ankle coming along? You know, I just realized crap. There are stickers that go with some of these devices to show you the password. And I don't know that I kept them in with the right devices. That could be a problem. Interesting. All right, so I really hope that okay, the password is on each device. Well, that's good. Yes, it is. That is good to know. That's very helpful. Alrighty, so where did that thing go? Alright, so got the quick installation guide out because I have not actually looked through the guide at all. I did, in fact, do the online demo version, if you will. So So just making sure I don't miss anything obvious. um, all right, there we go. If no DHCP server is available, the default address is 192.168.0.254. So I gotta change my I gotta change my IP address on my NIC first. So let me do that. And I actually have a cool tip for those of you who maybe are in the same boat I am that have to change IP addresses a lot. And that is, I made a batch file, which I can show you. So I made a batch file that basically sets the IP address and all the parameters, so I don't have to like type them in each time. And I just store all of them in a folder with my, is basically shortcuts so that I can just, change IP addresses quickly. That is Inception, because that's the same stream. That's the streaming thing. I don't want to do that. Hold on. Let's come back on camera. Sorry about this. I just need to get this converted first. Run. And then now, if I go to that address, I should see 192.168.0. What was it? 254. So, yep, I do get a display. So here is the page. Why is nothing responding? There we go. So there we go. There's our page. We got connectivity. The companion button needs a timer. A timer for what? Yeah, I'm not sure why you need AI in Notepad. So I go to a lot of different places, and I often use the same laptop for every place I go. And so I have, unfortunately, a lot of my sites, a lot of my things don't have DHCP. So I have different configurations for different networks. So, for example, at the radio station, we have 3 different networks. Only one of them has DHCP on it. The TV station has several networks that don't have DHCP on them. The TV station at the college I do work for occasionally doesn't have DHCP. So, and then several of my networks here, well, I guess one of my networks here didn't have DHCP on it. So, yeah, I basically have a lot of, I probably have at least 6 or 7, if not 8 networks that don't do DHCP. And so, that that should be, that's why. Let me rephrase it. Sorry about that. Like, for example, today, we did a huge audio board update. Our audio board is Dante based, and so we did a huge software update on that. The Dante network, the backup Dante network, neither one of those have DHCP on them, and so we had to get on that network to do firmware updates. So I had to, change my IP address for that. That's not one I connect to very often, so I didn't make a script for that one. But I wish I would have, because I had to go on it, make a change, and then I actually went back to my office and plugged in, and then like had to change again. So like I have a script to go from DHCP to static, and then so I can always go back to DHCP instead of typing it all in. So it doesn't save a whole lot of time, but it does save time when you're in a hurry. So yes, please like the stream. Looks like there are 14 of you here. That's awesome. Glad that you all made it. So far, it looks like there's 10 likes according to the YouTube studio page. That would be... Yeah, okay, now I get it. That would be cool. You probably could make something like that in Companion. My problem is I'd forget to go put it back on. Then it'd be like a two-step button, because I have to call up this. I have to call up like. I have to call it up and then push the button to put it back on the air. But that's not a bad idea. I do like. That is interesting. So all right, so let's go back to the page. And then we're going to log in. And it's admin. And then whatever the password is for each device. Each device is different, which is good. I believe that's a California rule that got changed for. Alrighty, that worked. So, here's the very basic default view. This is really the first time seeing this, so let me just kind of get an idea what we're looking at here. You got system info, port info. Here's where I obviously plugged in it. Neighbor info, that's interesting. Packet in and out. You got switching. Loopback detection. That's interesting. Link aggregation. That's cool. We do a lot of that at work. There's VLANs. Multicasting. Oh, okay. So it's got that. That's good. I was curious about how much multicast it would support, because I do kind of want to get back to that PTP project that I was working on earlier with the AES 67. Interesting. Definitely has the ability to do that, so that's cool. PoE, like I said, 24 instances of PoE. It's got 350 watts of total PoE power, so I think I'm going to be good on plugging stuff in. Not quite sure what that's about, but hey. So it looks like max power per port is 60 watts. That's quite a bit. Oh, and so there's that. Those first 8 ports can do 60 watts, and the rest of them can do 30 watts. Okay. Still, that's awesome. Security. Oh, it does TACAX. That's interesting. Radius authentication. Like I said, this is probably a little bit. Honestly, it might be a little bit more than I really need for that, but I really wanted the 10 gig ports, and so this is what I went with. So as Tony told me to do, you got to go update the firmware, and he said something like, "This is this. Oh, the server path. This is wrong. Apparently." Kind of mind blowing why Grandstream would have this to be wrong. But this switch doesn't actually have internet right now, so it's not a big deal because it can't even check right now if it wanted to. So I'm gonna go. Why? Oh, I know what I did wrong. I set a gateway, and I shouldn't have set a gateway because now everything's confused. Ethernet 4 properties. Edit. Get rid of the gateway. Get rid of the DNS. And save. So now I won't have dual. Problem was my template assumes that it needs a gateway, so it actually writes the gateway information in, and I didn't really want it to do that. So I had to get rid of that. So I'm guessing we go to support and firmware. Oh, this is interesting. So they tell you right here that you can no longer use that. That's interesting. So where is the? Is there a search button on here? 7813p. That's the beta firmware. I don't want the beta firmware. This page is not exactly friendly for some reason. What is going on? Close. $78. Okay, so here we go. So this is 10768. Definitely newer one. So GWN 7813. Where do you download the firmware from? Did I miss it? Like, am I just missing this? Or is, oh wait, this must be right here. So GWN 7813p. There we go. So it downloads a zip file, but it's in bin format. That's not unusual. Extract. So just because I'm not sure what's going to pop up when I do this, let's browse for my local drive. Downloads, release. GWN 781X firmware. And there we go. That uploaded pretty fast. Firmware uploaded successfully. Do you want to upgrade? Yes. I didn't make any changes, so that's not a big deal. But now we can all watch the we can all watch the firmware update together. Let's check out the chat while we're here. The interface does look clean. No, that's one of the things that I was honestly really impressed with Grandstream when I did their demo. Was that yes, their interface is very sleek. It's very modern. It's not overdone, but it's not, lacking in polish. It does look really good. It's nice. I got no complaints about that. That's for sure. Hey, Tony. Sorry, I don't know how long you've been here, but I'm glad you're here now. We just saw the UI for the first time. Yep, that's what I was trying to do. Scroll down to switches. Yeah, the Grandstream site that's not exactly impressive. Apparently it's rebooted already. That was fast. Holy crap. Yes, I realize that now. It's reboot. Wow, that is a quick firmware reboot. I'm going to plug in a couple devices just to see if they work. Yeah, I should have the elevator music. That's a good point. I should have played some music or something. But I mean, that was actually pretty fast. I am very impressed at how fast that firmware update happened. I am now slightly disappointed the fact that my phone won't light up. Is that a cable issue or is this a... So I'm trying to get this Grandstream phone to light up. I thought it was PoE, but it's not lighting up. Well, that's disappointing. It's the GXP 1400. I don't know if you guys can find the spec sheet on it, but I thought it was PoE, but it doesn't look like it is. That sucks. I was hoping it would be. Ironically, the little Unify edge switch lights right up. They talk just fine. So it's the GXP 1400. Yes, I believe, in fact, PoE is on by default. If we log back in. I wish Tony I could bring you on remotely. This would be fun to help me get this all set up. PoE global looks like is interface. So yes, it is on every port by default. Looks like if I look at, where was that port table? So here is that Unify switch, or that Flex Mini, and here you can see it's plugged in. Tells you what the, oh, that's interesting. And here you can see its power consumption. That's very handy. That is cool. All right, so if we go back here to firmware version, or system version is 3.13. That is the latest version. So we jumped from 7 to 13. So cool. So yes, it is okay. So the 14. Well, that sucks. I honestly, I may have to. I don't know. I may have to get rid of that. And that's that's one of the things I completely forgot to mention. Is this the GCC has a phone system in it? It's a PBX. They cram a lot of stuff in this little box. And so I am actually looking forward to having a PBX again, because I had one before. It was fun to play around with. Didn't really use it, but it'd be fun to have one built in that I might use. I don't know. It's one of those things where never know. All right. So Tony says can't stay long. Linda help offline tomorrow or weekend. Well, thank you, Tony. We'll see how far I can get. I may have to reach out again. So, but yes. So now that we got that working, don't need that. Don't need this. So now we're going to plug in the access point and see what happens. And we have lights. Isn't PoE awesome? All right, so now I need to figure out. Toro says the way they worded. I'm guessing the phone page is what you're referring to. Yeah. So now let's see about the access point. What its default password is, IP address is. This doesn't want to play the same game. Well, that should be interesting. Yeah, welcome to the future. Oh, okay. Well, I am disappointed. I could have swore that phone was PoE when I bought it, and I was hoping that I could have a desk phone that had PoE. Maybe I'll have to just buy one. Maybe, so you hear that, Joe? I'll buy a phone. So to discover the access point, it says use its MAC address or use the GWN discovery tool. You don't believe I'll buy a phone. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So let's just boy, I guess I could try the MAC address way first. No, that doesn't really, that's not going to work, is it? Don't go there, Grish. Come on. Don't do that to me. Don't- I thought you were better than Joe. Wow, we're done for the whole. We're only halfway through the decade, and I'm done buying stuff. I mean, maybe, but that is one of the things I am going to try at some point. Like I said before, I do believe I have the capacity to do that now, where I didn't before. So maybe one day you'll log in and then realize. My mom is calling. That's unusual for this time of night. Um, stand by. Sorry about that. Uh, oh boy. Anyway, okay. So we already are 480p, or yeah, we're already 480. I'm sure you made him laugh. I don't doubt that. Yes, a phone is ringing. Speaking of phone calls, that was kind of odd timing. Anyway, okay, so let's just see. I don't think this is gonna work. Hey, Bob, welcome in. Yeah, I mean, GoFundMe page. Oh, you've been lurking here. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't realize. That, um, you better, because if I go 1080p and I hear 4K out of your mouth, I'm gonna. I mean, I won't because you're not here, but I mean, the spirit will be there, I guess. um, now, who in the hell? Someone left me a voicemail that I don't know who it is. And sometimes I have work calls, so this could be interesting. Halfway, 2K. Do 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 do. I can't play that, can I? Yeah, it was junk. All right. Uh, so halfway. Well, yeah. No, we're not going to do 2K, which they left nothing. Yeah, they didn't leave anything, so that's good. Um, that phone is old. That phone is really old. I can't even tell you how old that phone is. Gosh, it's old. Um, but I feel like I gotta buy something now because I gotta prove Joe wrong. All right. Probably not. Everything's 9 years old, so yeah, it probably is. All right, let's try this again. I feel like I should probably download the Discovery tool because I don't think the MAC address is actually gonna work. Because it's not actually on the network. Like, it's not plugged into the regular network. Is that a good phone? Is that a good one? I don't know what that is. Let's look that up. GXP 2170. Oh, that looks like a cool phone. The prices vary a lot. Oh, it's different. So that's a cool looking phone. Hmm. All right. So there's no way you're buying a phone. I really like it. No, I actually use my credit card a lot. So no, I didn't. They didn't flag it. You can change the background. That's pretty cool. For phones, or what are you talking about? I don't follow. That would have been good. That would have been funny. I would have liked that. Is the we might have a Grandstream Wi-Fi phone at work. I forget what model that is. If that's actually Grandstream, that thing is pretty cool because you can join the Wi-Fi network and then it works anywhere in the building. Uh, I'll have to double check on that one because if that's the case, that would be a cool phone to get. No, if I had used Joe's, it probably would have bounced. Because no credit, or it would have been shipped to some Chinese address or whatever it is. So I got this Grandstream device I'm trying to access right now. Uh, I feel like I have to send Jay a phone now. You have the address. For those who don't remember, this has been a while, but Joe sent me alcohol during a stream one time via, was it DoorDash? I don't remember which one it was, but all of a sudden someone's at the front door and they delivered alcohol to our house. It was hilarious. Haley and I were both very confused what the hell was happening, but it was freaking hilarious. Since every company on Earth is switching to Teams, you should be able to get used IP phones. That's true. That's very true. Um, Oof. Shots fired. Well, I had the microphone, and you will listen to every word I have to say. Or you could leave. But you know what I'm saying. If you're going to stay. Um, yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure that there's a VoIP wireless phone that we use at work, and I'm going to have to go to work and find out what it is. Because if it is, that is a cool phone. And I will have to share that out because that is like perfect for the situation at work where we have a quite large building and basically we have an on-call like person, like you call a number and someone should answer that phone, and so they can carry the phone with them because it's on Wi-Fi and it can roam around the building. Yeah, I think. Um, yeah, I'm one of. It's one of those. That does sound familiar. It's the. I think I have the. I have one of those at work. I forget which one it is. And I realize my camera shot is way too high. It needs to be lowered. Um. Anyway, let's try to get into this thing before we get sidetracked again. In theory, this says I can do this, which I don't think I can. So we're just gonna try. Wait, exposing the MAC address, would that create any issues? I don't know if it would or not. Can't imagine MAC address would matter too much. But maybe I shouldn't show it. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Let me see if it even works first. It probably won't. Yeah, it didn't work. That's what I figured it wouldn't work, but just wanted to try it, I guess. So where you need to go to. Well, you know what? It's not going to work because there's nothing. Hold on. I can't actually plug a network in. And then if I unplug this, plug this back in. If I go to my PF Sense now, I wonder if I can see it because now it's plugged into my other network, which should have a DHCP server on it. Otherwise, we're going to have to do the discovery tool. So yeah, so I just went and looked. We have the WP822 at work. That's what we have, and it is a great phone. It is a great Wi-Fi phone. Pretty sure that's the one I'm, because that doesn't require a base station. That just works anywhere. Right, Tony? That's the one that can work without a base station, right? So we bought one that didn't work without a base station, and then there's one that uh, sorry, we bought one that required a base station, and that didn't work out right. That was horrible. So then we went and bought one that was truly Wi-Fi based, and that was much better. Well, that's not finding it either. Oh crap. So it looks like we're gonna have to use the GWN Discovery tool, which is weird because I would have thought that would have worked. Okay. So 9 of you still here, 13 likes. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's not getting an IP address. At least not that is shown up in the art table. You know what? I should probably actually assign an IP address to that switch before I move on, because otherwise we're just going to be in the same boat in a second. So let me go back to this page real quick. Oh, wait. You guys can't see this because I'm on the wrong page. So, yeah, that's the one that we have is the 822. So is this under system? Basic settings? We are definitely not in Beijing. That might have took longer than it did the firmware update. Where the hell do you change the IP address of the box of this thing though? IP? VLAN? Oh, there we go. DHCP. For now, that'll work fine. So now I have to go back to this and see what happens. Did it actually get an address? This will be the next question. Dashboard. Or sorry, leases. You would have thought it would have got an address, but it doesn't appear to be getting one. Oh, crap. I know why. Damn it. This is still an issue because of my network configuration. Crap. Hold on. So this goes back to my stupid issue from last time. That port I'm plugged into is on the wrong damn VLAN. So it's currently set up for this. Excluded. Go. Wait. Excluded. Save. And it needs to be on this network because reasons. Untagged. Apply. I bet you it works now. Son of a bitch. All right, let's just see what happens. I probably gotta unplug something again to make that work. And then if I plug in that again, refresh. What do you know? I have 2 devices in my IP address pool. So now I have 10.1.1.92. There's the switch. And then 10.1.94. Is the access point. Imagine that. Imagine that. Alrighty, so come on. Alrighty, so that we're making progress here. Yeah, I mean, I could. I was just going to go through each device and do a firmware update and just kind of do an overview of each device first. because I was going to do a firmware update for each device, and then when I got to the GCC, do a firmware update and then adopt each one based on the phone call that you and I had. This would have burned it either way. I would have been burned. I would have had to do that either way because that was on the wrong VLAN. What the hell was that page? That was weird. So this is the access point. Status. Got configuration. We got SSIDs. Clients. This has got access policies in it. Bandwidth rules. Can do a captive portal. Splash page. Interesting. That's a whole bunch of HTML files and pictures. Vouchers. Like I said, this is not the tri-band Wi-Fi 6E. This is just a regular dual band. Interesting. It does mesh. That's interesting. I didn't know that it did mesh. Not that I need to, I don't want mesh, but so yeah, so can you not load the firmware manually on this one? Firmware. Tony, if you're still here, can this do, like, does this have to, can you upload the file manually, or does it, you have to use this one? Because I think that's the wrong address. There's no option to load a file on here. Like the switches, you could load a file. I'm a little confused by this one. This is definitely the place to do it. Click the upgrade button to upgrade immediately, but that's the wrong address. At least according to Tony. They're all different now, which this page does confirm. So network switches, Wi-Fi access point. This is a 7660. What you doing? 70. So this is the address. Upgrade. Obtain server failed. Apparently that's the wrong address. Or does this not have access to the internet? I would assume it does. This is interesting. Upgrade protocol. Select whether you want to randomly upgrade this thing within 30 minutes of booting. Oh boy, I don't know about that. Oh, does it need the freaking... I can't imagine it needs that. Nope. Alrighty, so boom, boom, boom. Yes, hi Rebecca. I am reading the chat. Yeah, no, this does not have 6 gigahertz. This is just the regular Wi-Fi 6. I believe 6E adds the 6 gigahertz band. Firmware server only. Okay. But how come it's not working? isn't that isn't this the this website sucks. Um HTTP upgrade server. You point it to that. That's the right one right here. You can download the firmware. So it says you specified a firmware version, but this says HTTP upgrade server. I'm confused. We can try that. Nice one, Bob. Yes, I can read. Welcome in, David. I'm so confused why this isn't working. What am I doing wrong? It has an IP address. That is a valid address that should have internet access. 2534. It is technically not up to date. It's pretty damn close, but it's technically not up to date. So it should have a firmware option available for it. Oh, shut up. Save. Oh, that's. There we go. That makes more sense now. So happy Tony's here. So this is the URL. You paste it here. You save it. Apply changes. There were 5 changes? I don't know what changes I made, but okay. Now we do. Hey, look at that. Boom. It makes sense. I didn't actually save the changes. I mean, um, you kind of need to do that. I feel like I'm already there. I feel like I see the world very differently than I used to, and not in a good way. The device is rebooting. Yeah, this is what we were talking about earlier. That the default URL for firmware is like wrong on purpose. It makes sense in a way, but also you would think it would just they would handle it differently. I don't know. I feel like um I feel like they're missing the boat here on this one. I'm sure you have. No, I mean unless you count a movie, like a movie theater, if they're 4K, or some sort of demo in a store. I've never seen anything 4K. I don't have anything. I don't have anything that displays 4K. Nobody I know has a 4K television. So unless Costco has 4K displays or it was a movie theater that did 4K, I've never seen 4K in person. Uh, yeah, I can. I mean, I've never seen their ATAs, but I've seen a couple ATAs out there, and they are like they're not the best. That's for sure. Actually, yeah, at our Costco, we can buy. I can buy a 4K TV for $6.99, $7.99. I think it was. They were really. There were some really good deals there today on 4K TV. Like even a nice Sony. There was a Sony TV there that I'm pretty sure was 4K, and it was like just over 1,000. I was shocked. Awesome. So there we did. That actually worked. All right. So that's done. That one's done. So I guess we can do the GCC 6010 now. I mean, so in all seriousness, you are obsessed with 4K. The rest of the world is not. Most people do not care about 4K television whatsoever. It's a buzzword that people out there want to use and that try to sell TVs or do whatever it is. But it's not popular. It's not a thing people are going to the store and asking for. It's not distributed widely. We will never be like my station will never do 4K broadcast because we're not. It's more important to us to be HD in all subchannels than it is to be one 4K stream, and people are watching on devices like this. So, um, it's one of those things where you might like want 4K, but most people don't care. It's unfortunately one of those things where we've hit a plateau in quality that people don't care anymore. It's not a There's no race to 4K. There's no race to 8K unless you're an enthusiast. It's just reality. It's. I mean, even the broadcasters, like the big guys, ESPN, and all them, they don't do. They're pushing 4K content out because it's a buzzword, but they're taking 1080p and up converting it to 4K. You're not even watching true 4K. So, it may say 4K, but it's upscaled 1080p. Yeah, they're really the TVs at Costco are just cheap. They're insanely. Grandstream Arcades Hila. Bob, do you care about 4K? I'm not sure Bob cares about 4K. I mean, he might watch 4K, but I'm not sure he cares about TV in 4K. I would disagree with you because we changed our schedule today and our phones lit up. Like people were annoyed, so people still watch TV. I believe that. Hashtag J Truth. I mean, it is. It's you know. Yeah, you can get 4K content on those platforms, but unless you have a huge TV and you're sitting close to it, your eyes can't tell that much of a difference. And yeah, no, correct. 4K will never be broadcast. We're not going to be. I mean, yes, in theory, ATSC 3 supports 4K, but I really don't see the broadcasters doing that because our entire physical plant would have to be upgraded. And that's not happening, as Joe points out, because people aren't watching television anymore like they used to. So there's not an incentive to go 4K. And more importantly, advertisers aren't paying more for 4K spots. They don't care if you're in 720p or 4K. They pay the same rate. It is a thing. I'm not arguing it's not. I'm not arguing that it's a thing. I'm just saying most people who aren't in this chat do not care about 4K. If you go out to the street and ask somebody if they care about 4K resolution, they're probably either going to ask you, what's 4K? Or say, I think my TV supports it. Or they've said they've seen it and they're probably lying to you. I bring this up because I remember going to Best Buy back in the day, and the people were telling people that this was HD when it was just SD, and they couldn't tell the damn difference because they're like, well, this is HD, and the display says HD. And I'm like, you're watching an analog picture, or you're watching an SD DVD in widescreen. It was not HD, and people were really selling people on HD, and they weren't watching anything in HD, and yet people were going, this is great, I'll buy it. So people may say they want 4K and they've seen 4K, but they probably aren't actually watching 4K because most people who aren't in this chat don't care. It's just the reality of it. People care way more, or people care more about their content than they care about the quality of the content, as long as it meets a certain bar. Case in point, all the sports broadcasts these days that are being done with like single cameras, and the high school sports that are being broadcast with one camera, and people are watching that. There's not even commentators, and they still watch it. So the quality is, as long as you meet a certain threshold, which is usually about 720p, you're good. You bought a 3D TV? I remember when my brother-in-law at the time, he is no longer my brother-in-law, but at the time, he was telling me that 3D was going to be a thing. Kind of like this 4K discussion. He was like, 3D is great. It'll be the best thing ever. Everybody's going to have it. And I said, no, it won't. And let me explain to you the reasons why. And we kind of just went over those same exact reasons. And then 3D died off because it cost more. It didn't really benefit people. They got tired of it. They didn't know what they were looking at, so on and so forth. Don't you mean the 1080p up converted to 4K? Because they didn't produce the game in 4K. Yeah, Japan's way ahead of us in terms of all that technology. I think it's a buzzword people know about. I don't think people actually understand what they're asking for or want. Because I've seen a lot of people's TVs who literally the TVs aren't big enough to see the difference in 4K. Now, if you want to see a difference, do high dynamic range or HDR, because the color differences people will see and flock to because your eyes can see it even from far away. But if you simply make a display 4K and you're not sitting very close to it, you don't see it. Your eyes can't. Yeah, see, exactly. 10-bit color, HDR, the things your eyes can see no matter what are going to make more impact to people than 4Ks. And yeah, people are trying to keep up with the Joneses. The 4K is the big buzzword. If you come up tomorrow and said 8K is the new thing, people are going to want to buy 8K televisions. It's true. There's a certain amount of people there. I mean, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree because I don't think people care about 4K. They may think they do, they may say they do, but I bet you they don't. And I've literally met people who told me they were watching things in HD and they weren't. Like I've literally dealt with people who were like, I'm watching this picture's HD, and I'm like, it's 480. They couldn't tell the difference. They thought they were watching HD. I've dealt with it many times in the past. I dumbass. Yeah, there was a lot of that too. There was a lot of people who, like I said, literally Best Buy was selling TVs that said, look at this HD picture, and it was a SD DVD because they didn't have HD Blu-rays or HD DVDs back then, so they were literally watching SD out of a DVD player, or they were watching the over-the-air station. And in one case, the Best Buy guy told me this was HD, and I said that's not HD because literally my dad works there, and they don't have the ability to do HD yet. This would be an unfair poll. People in this audience, my audience, cares about quality and 4K. People on the street, I don't think do. Was it 3D and 4K? Yeah, I've gotten one person call. One person has called about ATSC3 television, and that was it. One person's called even asking about it at all, and he said, is there any plans for your station to go ATSC3? And I said no, and he said, oh, okay, I was just wondering, my new TV has it, and that's it. We've gotten one phone call, I think, about ATSC3 and 4K, and he didn't even mention 4K. He just asked about ATSC3. Yeah, no, that's true. You're not the same. It's not the same audience, that's for sure. And yeah, no, there's a huge separation between what the client wants and what the people want. If your client wants 4K or wants to deliver 4K because that's what they want to do like what Joe does, okay, understand 100%. You got to be 4K. If the client wants 4K, you're got to be 4K. But when it comes down to rubber meets the road and people are watching on this, it's kind of overkill to do your whole production in 4K and then try to broadcast it to this. I mean, come on. Thank you. Oh yeah, it's a buzzword. It's a big thing. People want 4K, and I understand it to a point, but at the end of the day, if your audience is on here, which they increasingly are, I mean, hell, if your audience is TikTok, I mean, geez, who cares what the quality is? No one, the quality can be 480p, and the people are gonna watch it. They don't care. Yeah, ATSC3 is in a lot of markets. It's not in mine. Yep. Nope. That's true. You pay more for highly compressed. That's because the bit rate. Seriously, if you're 4K, they give it more bit rate. If you gave a 1080p signal a higher quality bit rate, it'd look better. But a lot of people want to bit starve. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. If you bit starve anything, if you bit starve a 4K picture, it'll look like crap. If you give 1080p a lot of bit rate and you give it high dynamic color, it'll look fantastic. But you can't bit starve it, because if you bit starve anything, it'll look like crap. If you do 30 frames a second instead of 60 frames a second and you show action like sports, it'll look like crap. So you got to make sure that the resolution or the frame rate and the bit rate go together, because if you're just doing 480, if you're doing 4K, you know, at 24 frames a second or whatever it is, and you're bit starving it, it's, yeah, unless you're doing slow motion pictures, it's not going to look very good. Exactly. I mean, yeah, it's all about the bit rate. I mean, so my guess is YouTube gives 4K content a much higher bit rate because it has to than they do for 1080p, and therefore you can notice a difference. But in a blind test, if you were watching content on two TVs next to each other, and one's 1080p and one's 4K, and they're both like Blu-rays, and you're standing far enough away, you probably can't tell a difference. I mean, honestly, your eyes can't tell the difference. Especially the older you get, the less you can tell a difference. Yeah, well, Joe started it, so therefore let's just throwing it out there. I know that's not an excuse. I'm just saying. It's a pet peeve of mine. 4K is a giant pet peeve. I have lots of pet peeves, and that's one of them. So let's pull out the GCC. No, they will never change. They will never change the bandwidth allocations because, well, I shouldn't say never. With this administration, who knows? But typically, the 6 megahertz allocations are written into international treaties because Mexico and Canada share the same space. So we can't change to 8 megahertz or 10 megahertz because that would change the frequency allocations with Canada and Mexico. And that's not going to happen unless you change international law. So no, you'll never see 8 megahertz or 10 megahertz channel spacing or allocation. Sorry. Yes, Grandstream could support 4K because it's just bits. And Canada is not a state and won't be a state. And I feel like now you're just pushing to see how far it'll go. All right, so shortcuts. We're going to go back to my little helper script. We're going to turn DHCP on for that interface because I need to get into it. Where did it go? This one is 4. Save. Run. Tony, if you're here, I assume the 5th WAN port is the 5th WAN port is, sorry, the 5th LAN port is WAN, right? If I remember correctly. I think that was correct. So let me see if I have internet bandwidth through there. Yes, port 5. Okay. And it's already passing traffic because now I'm on. I turned Wi-Fi off and we're on to We're on the GCC. I got an address of 80.1. Oh, that's interesting. That's a different subnet. Alrighty, so this should be the GCC. Need to copy that password because I can't actually see it. And yeah, I have to freaking take pictures of things now and zoom them into my phone because my eyesight's getting so bad these days. Oh, so this is interesting. Gotta change your password right away. That's definitely smart. Submit. Sign in. Welcome to the GCC. I should probably go through the setup wizard, I'm guessing. Maybe not. Because I really don't want to enter that information. I guess I can do it off screen. So let's do, oops. You're not even seeing this anymore. All right, so WAN 1, I guess we'll call, well, that'll work, I guess. Wait, is this, so this is, I guess this is SFP 7. I guess it's fine. I don't really, well, there we go. This is WAN 2. WAN, that's definitely not what I want. So this will be fiber. Obtain. Good. Just go that. Alrighty. See you, Tony. Thanks for checking in. See you, Keith. Thanks for checking in. So before we go far, let's just do the upgrade. So we'll go back to here. Again, this stupid website. What the hell? Stupid website. So GCC 6010 firmware. And then there's PBX firmware. This could be interesting. The single complete file can be downloaded here. Starting with, what version are we on? We're on 10134. Wow, this is way behind. Jeez. Oh wait, I gotta un. I gotta yeah. Extract. That's the word I'm thinking of. Jeez. So if we go to downloads, this is right? So starting with firmware, a single complete file. Is that what I uploaded? Yes, I did. So that should work. So install. Of course. Oh boy. Um, can't check on lines. So I mean, I don't think that's the right path. Or maybe it is. um, New version. Okay. Upgrade now. We are jumping quite a bit at versions. That is for sure. Rebooting. Do not cut off the power. Probably should have plugged in this into a UPS. Oh my god, it's 10 o'clock already? I did not realize it had been that long. So Bob says +1 for Grandstream. They make you jump through a few hoops, but at least they do offer some upgrade, some way to perform upgrades. The fact the other one can't upgrade. Uh, yeah, no, that was really easy actually. So yeah, that was definitely nice. Is this the Grandstream video phones? I have not. So hopefully this will come back here pretty soon, and then we can. Um, Like I would like to get this all adopted. I'd like to at least get the switch and the access point adopted, and then everything will be adopted into one platform. I'll do the other switches and the other access point offline. It doesn't. You already seen how to do one, so we don't need to do it again. I forgot to record a clean feed of this. Damn it. I should have done that. Crap. In theory, this should be back. Why is it not back yet? I honestly don't know because, as we talked about earlier with Teams and all that stuff, you really can't. Like, who really wants to use a video phone? I mean, I still use the phone all the time at work, but not video phone. Um, okay, now I'm a little worried. Why is this not coming back? Um, Come on. Oh, there we go. Thank God. That did take longer than I expected. 404. Oh, they changed. Okay. I was going to, yes. That was my intention. Um, that was definitely my intention, but because I was running so late, um, for reasons I'm not going to get into, um, I forgot to hit record. And even if I had hit record, I now realize that my hyperdeck is being fed the dirty version, or dirty program as it's called. So it has all the chat in it. So that was a failure on two parts. Failure to record and failure to get the clean feed. So that kind of sucks. I mean, I guess I could still try to capture. I guess I could download this and try to edit together something quicker, but it's going to have chat messages in it, and that's going to piss me off. So, yeah, I guess screwed up that. Alrighty, so here we go. Here's the changes. I mean, there's probably way more changes than this because this is just probably off the latest version. So we were way behind this. So here you can see there's like different sections, and then here's the PBX and the phone system, and you have to actually enable that. Right now it's off, which is fine. Oh, well, that's interesting. So this is still on the old version. So it upgraded the, looks like they upgraded the core, but not the PBX. So yeah, so here's, let's just kind of go through, I guess, now. So here's the overview page. We got networking. So here it uses, so that's showing you nice little graphs. You got port info. Again, there's your, I like these. These are pretty nice displays. Even shows you if you plug a USB port in. That's interesting. Network settings. There's your ports. That's interesting. They have net 1 being the highest priority, then they just decrease as they go down for PoE. I mean, it makes sense. So by default, it uses SFP7 and Ethernet 5 as WAN, which I guess makes sense based on the layout. This is, Tony mentioned this the other day to me, and I'm not sure. Default value is hardware. So if hardware acceleration is on, QoS, rate limit, and traffic assist will not take effect. That's interesting. So here's VPN. It does support WireGuard. Tony had a weird issue with WireGuard, which I will let him explain, but he figured it out. He got, what's variable? Interesting. Traffic. You got access control. Well, thank God that's turned off. All right, bye, Bob. That was kind of what I was wondering, actually. I really don't. That's a good question. I don't know what it's for. Print server would be cool. File storage would be something. I'm not sure. Maybe that'd be interesting. I guess in certain scenarios that would be helpful. Yeah, so Tony said, let me call up his signal messages. Where's Tony? He mentioned, I forget what he was getting through WireGuard. I thought he sent me a picture, but I don't see it now. Or was that in the other chat? Maybe I'm missing the wrong. I know he was getting 780 megabits on the Wi-Fi through his new thing, but I don't remember what his WireGuard speeds were. I can't find it. Yeah, no, I get that now. I saw that. Yes. I don't know. That'd be a great question. I'm glad this is off by default. That's so. This is the part. I think this is these firewall rules are the part that I think is where Grandstream has some issues because like You can make these rules here, and obviously they'll be nice, but you can't do you can't do groups. Like you can't do like a list. In PF sense, you could make an alias that would be like if the source IP address was this, or that, allow it. Here you'd have to have 4 different rules because you have to have this, and that, each be its own rule, which I think is horrible. So apparently that's being worked on, but it's not obviously here yet. You can do certificates. You got Radius authentication. Radius is something I'm actually looking at doing at some point because I think it'd be fun to have a Radius server. Here's your firewall. Trial plan. I don't know what that's about. I thought interesting. Oh, I think you can buy like extra protection or whatever. SSL proxy. That's interesting. All right, so this should be where we can adopt things. AP management. No IP. So takeover. Takeover? I will admit, I have no idea what's going on here, so we'll take Parapiece. Are these still on? Yeah, this one's on. Oh wait, it's not the same network. Never mind, hold on. Let me try that again. I had to move the AP from the switch to the GCC, so I bet you it works now. Or not. I guess it might take it a second to see it. And I'm out of network cables. No, I'm not. Over here. All right, so now I have the switch and the access point both plugged into the GCC. Yeah, you can't copy rules. I think that's correct. I don't know where was NTP under. Did I miss something? I don't know. You can point it at an NTP server. I don't know if it can act as one though. I'm actually going to get, or I should say buy, Joe. I want to get a Raspberry Pi and do a hardware time server for PTP and NTP, both of them. So We should be able to adopt this thing. Can it see the switches? We could take over this one. Well, look at that. That was really actually easy. Cool. Looks like it's talking. I would assume this would. I don't know why this one doesn't. I don't, this is definitely on the new firmware because we already did that. Oh, I didn't price it out exactly, but man, it was going to cost a lot more. I mean, to get a 10 gig switch, you were talking like for $800 for I think it was the 10 gig aggregate 10 gig aggregation switch was like $800, and that's basically what I paid for this whole setup. A little bit more, but I mean, Unify would have cost a lot more. I mean, their Wi-Fi access points were about $50 more. I probably could have saved some money on the switches because I could have done the flexes instead of. No, I couldn't because I wanted the rack ports. So yeah, Unify was going to cost a lot more. I would say several hundreds, if not like $500 or $600 more. Yeah, the alias is nice. That Tony apparently is talking to them about it or has mentioned it to them. I think, maybe they can actually work that in. I would like to use GPS for that clock, yes. All right. I'll see what I can do. I'll hit you up later. Good night, Toro. All right. So why does this not want to pair? AP. Let's plug the other one in and see what happens. Let me redo a little bit of wiring here for a second. I'll be right back. Hold on, I'm just rewiring some stuff. With some better cables too, because what I had wasn't the best. Oh, the access point was too far behind. I think it was. That was awfully behind. I probably shouldn't use. I can't do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna run into the problem Tony had, where the firmware version is too out of date. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I really do. I When I was looking at the thing, I was like, you know what? Grandstream offers interfaces that are on the device. They're cheaper, and there's might be quirks here and there, but everybody does. So yeah, the VOD, that'd be a good topic. Yes, that'd be a great title. Congratulations, Jeremy. That is awesome. Jeremy mentioned going live after this. I will probably just stop here in a second because this is I I'm hitting into some kind of roadblock that I don't know what it is. And Tony warned me about this, and I maybe just because I'm trying to stream, I'm doing it wrong. But you, in theory, man, what am I doing wrong? This makes I don't get it. I mean, this in theory should be working, but it's not. I don't know why. Alrighty. Brownies? What kind of brownies? So this is the port. I'm looking at the port through the GCC network. That's pretty cool. You can tag them with descriptions. That's helpful. It's interesting that they're not showing up as green. You would think they would be showing up. Well, there's the one. It's now showing up. Did it take that long to boot? I wouldn't think so. Hey, look. That just took a long time to boot. So we could now adopt this one. So now if we go back to our, where was that? The overview, topology. So what did I do wrong? I think did that not work? Take over. Nope. Pair. Nope. Maybe it did. I don't know. I don't know what it's doing right now. I think it's rebooting actually. Because the light's off. Yeah, it really would, wouldn't it, Joe? Sorry. It would. It would be helpful if they gave me anything. Switch management. Because if we go back to the switch thing, click on here. Was it port? This is not up to date because this is not accurate. Yeah, no, you could definitely tell Grandstream is new or newer than Unify because they haven't been playing the same game as long. So there's definitely is a there's a definitely distinction there. Oh, what did I do wrong? Something. Oh, now I got a green light. It just took clear the cache. That's a good point. I refresh. Yep, I had to refresh the page. That was apparently cache some of that shit. That's interesting. Where was that? I forget where that. No, sorry guys. I'm not used to. Here we go. Topology. So yeah, okay. So this is. I mean, this is cool. I mean, it definitely, like I said, it has some nice. It's polished. It definitely has some things that need improving. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it just took it a while to reboot, apparently. So now if I go to topology, there we go. Success. We actually got the whole network to talk to each other. There we go. That's what I wanted to accomplish tonight. I wanted to get the network up and running and at least bits flowing, things talking. That was cool. Yeah, I mean overall yes, the Grandstream stuff was cheaper than Unify. That is definitely true. It is definitely newer software. I think it'll be good. There are some things that need improvement, but if you remember, Unify's been around for a while, And it wasn't until version 9 that their firewall rules made any sense. So it took them a long time for Unified to get to the point where people would use it for firewalls because their firewall rules made no sense. Grandstream, at least their firewall rules make sense. There's some features that'd be nice, but they at least make sense. So I think they're just different places right now. They're different companies right now. It's going to just take a little bit longer for them to get their act together. And not longer in terms of like overall time span. I'm just saying where they're at right now and where we want them to be or they should be isn't that far off, but they're not there yet. So I think overall it makes a lot of sense. It's why I chose Grandstream. I'm happy with my choice still. You're interested in their QoS. I have not looked at their QoS stuff. Where was that? Sorry, if you could. I don't remember what the hell that was. Traffic management, QoS. So I still got to understand this thing because when you turn one thing on, the other thing gets turned off. So that's interesting. There's a lot of stuff here to play with. This is cool. If you do have a phone system, you can tell it to prioritize the phone traffic, which would be helpful. I have noticed at work where every once in a while the phone system just the phone calls flip out a little bit because there's just congestion. So, and this goes to show there is actually a third. I did plug in a second access point, the one that was out of the box. It is not showing up. It is booted, but because its firmware is not up to date, it can't talk to it. So I got to go update the firmware on that device by itself because it's too out of date to talk. And I forget where I don't even know where the hell I'd find that at. Clients, where's the DHCP clients? This is going to take some getting used to. That is for sure. Because I would have thought it'd been underneath here, and it's not. Network, where's clients? Where is the client? No, it probably doesn't really matter. It is a bad experience in a way, yes. But you also have to understand. I don't know if this controller even existed back when the firmware on these things was made because it was kind of out of date. All right, hold on. Where the hell is the damn IP addresses? Topology? System? No, there's no way it's got to be underneath networking, right? You would think so. Nope. Where's the DHCP table? Client. There we go. Jeez. I knew it was here somewhere. So that would be the access point. Yep. thing is, there's two of them plugged in, and yet I don't see the second one. Because there should, in theory, be 3 clients. You're right. No, you're correct. That you would definitely think. You would definitely think that new, but I bought them from a third party, so I don't know. Like, I didn't buy them from Grandstream directly, so it's possible that these have been in a warehouse for a while. But I'm gonna wrap this stream up, so because we've been going for a long time. So thank you guys for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you learned something. I'm sure we'll talk about a lot more. We'll talk about this a lot more on Tuesday. So thank you all. You all have a good night.